What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm recapping Daryl Dixon, Season 2, Episode 4. I've been doing this, and yes, I'm a blind film critic. And you're like, well, how does that work? It doesn't. Welcome. Please stay. This is on AMC Plus, where they don't like to use audio description, so it has none. And I'm all decked out today. I've got my Friday the 13th shirt on, which feels somewhat appropriate for a horror-oriented show. So I want to make sure to point that out for my blind fans that occasionally drift through here. Primarily, I think, because I'm the only one who talks about audio description in relation to film. And also why we need it when it's not there. So, Daryl Dixon. Wow, there's a lot of French in here. I have no idea what anybody's saying. So, that's always interesting. Like, sighted people, you get subtitles. I don't. I get Duolingo and start learning French on Duolingo so I can maybe like pick up a word or two in Daryl Dixon. I don't know. It's not really happening. Apparently, like the title of the episode is something in French, but it basically means heaven. So I picked up on that. So it's taken us 4 episodes to reunite Carol and Daryl. Like, she started off the season in America, and she is in France. She is in some obscure fucking place in France, and she has found Daryl in episode 4. The writing in this show is so questionable this season, it's obnoxious. Like, they couldn't even wait till the end of the season. They had to get her there, like, in episode 4. Like, they were like, we need to get Carol to Daryl as quickly as humanly fucking possible. Does it make sense? No. But we're gonna do it, by God. We're gonna do it. Do you realize, like, at this rate, if Carol had been the one that had gone to find Rick, she probably would have found him within the context of season 11 and brought him back for the finale. Should have been like, he's right over there. There's this giant other place. They've got like a military and some shit. It took me a minute to get him out of there, but he's welcome back. Here's Rick, you know? Like, it takes Michonne like forever and a lifetime, because at this point, we are past season 11. So Michonne has still been like roaming the world trying to find Rick. And Carol makes no mention of Rick when she reunites with Daryl. So, which means The Ones Who Live has not officially happened / finished. Michonne and Rick have not come home. So, at least as of the time that Carol left to look for Daryl, it hadn't happened yet. Which was already, because remember, Michonne left before the end of this. She didn't leave at the end of the season like Daryl did to go find Rick. She left to go shoot Black Panther. And needed the time. So, it was a while. It's been a while. And, you know, this series, man. So they reunite, and it's just like, they're just back together. Just like, it's just like immediately, like, no really like catching up, no time for that. They're just like, we're back together. We just got to do some stuff. And it's funny because like this is also Isabel's final episode, so it's almost like Isabel was the stand-in for Carol. Like, God forbid these two characters exist in the same space for more than an episode. You know, like. So Isabel dies the same episode that Daryl gets Carol back. So it's like very conflicting for him, because he's like, wait a minute, I was in love with her, but I've also been following this chick forever. Like forever. To the point where when Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride were doing press for this, they had to like, one of the things they were asked was, have they ever ? You know? Because, you know, it hasn't ever really been, their relationship hasn't ever been shown that way on screen, but damn, they're close. People are always like, damn, Daryl and Carol, are they not ever hooking up? Is it just like a relationship? Like, how are they bonded? They're just, You know, they're like brother and sister type stuff for life, but they've never really thought about going. They've totally friend zoned each other. Um, but I don't know, Lothario, whatever his name is in this thing, he's trying to get Isabel to give him the location of the boy, and his character's totally changed this season too. Like it's almost like they needed to write him off too. They're like, oh, we don't need him because he was originally like, yeah, Daryl, you should stay, man. You should. This is your new home. Like, why did you stay? And then season 2, he's all like, nah, we need to get Daryl the fuck out of here, you know. Put Daryl in jail. I don't know. And then his thing, he just like 180s into a villain like super quickly for season 2, and you start realizing they're gonna bring him back to fucking America by the end of this season, aren't they? These bitches are gonna be back in America at the end of this season. They're gonna be in that fucking plane flying back to America in 4 episodes. 2 episodes. I don't know. How many is it? 6 or 8? Whatever it is. My prediction, they're in the plane with the kid flying back to America or landed in America. One of two things. Because this is the fastest moving that we have ever had in The Walking Dead. We have spent ages in the same location in the Walking Dead universe without going anywhere. And just like Carol has walked her ass like all up and down the East Coast trying to find Daryl. Eventually finds somebody who like has heard of him, gets the information she needs, somehow finds a plane, you know, and a guy and convinces this guy to fly her. Survives the shenanigans in Greenland, flies over to France, happens to meet somebody who knows Daryl right away in Paris, by the way, which is one of like the biggest cities in ever. So, and that person, not only does she have somebody who tells her where Daryl is, but then she also meets the villain who literally brings her to Daryl in the quickest way possible. This series it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I'm blind, and there's a lot I don't pick up on, but this stuff is a bit much. We are for some reason going 180 miles an hour, and you're like, I don't even know why. It's like, why are we going 180 miles an hour? You know, it's like, for what? Are you afraid? Did AMC tell you? Did Norman Reedus say I'm only doing 3 seasons of this show? Like, is Melissa McBride like, I'm gonna tap out after we gotta wrap this story up? I don't know. Like, what is the reason for moving at this ridiculous pace? So then, like, we move really fast to get Carol to Daryl and to kill off Isabel. And like the whole second half of the episode is them like slowing down. And they find this old couple that Laurent went through and went on his way. And then they, you know, sort of muse on love. And Laurent told this old couple about the two of them and how they clearly love each other, but they don't want to have this affection because they think that Carol is Isabel, because that's what would make sense. Although apparently Laurent didn't tell them that how French Isabel was, because Carol doesn't come across as French at all. Like, at all. There's a point in the series where I thought like one of the writers who's like clearly in protest got in what he needed to get in. And it's the best scene in the Walking Dead universe. So there's a scene that is just them squabbling. It's just Carol and Daryl squabbling, and they're clearly addressing to the audience. They're like, we know we are writing dog shit right now at this point. And like Carol's like, this is weird, isn't it? And then he says something like to her, like, it's stupid. And he's like, it's weird. You know, I mean, like, they're talking about like how it's like for them to be in France. I'm like, yeah, it is. Thank you for like voicing the inner thoughts of everyone watching this show right now, who were like, my God, it was a hard, like, it was hard enough for me to accept the fact that Daryl had made it to France just for this show, you know, and then to see Carol like casually fly to France just over the course of a few episodes. And then she seems to have no problem, you know, just kind of like rolling up on Daryl. She's like, hey, when did you get here? I don't know, like 2 days ago. Flew in, ran into a dude, knew you, found this woman. She brought me to you. It's pretty easy, actually. France is easy. Way easier than America. I don't know. Michonne's been wandering around forever. She's probably dead. I don't know. Trying to find Rick. I should probably gone. I would have found her. Yeah, it turns out the old guy is and by the way, it's also clunkily written because there's this thing, there's sort of like this like Danger Will Robinson moment where they're like, oh, you've lived here forever, and he's like, my family's lived here for 4 generations, and I can't do a French accent, and we have always found a way to survive. In World War One, we sold carrots to the Germans. In World War Two, we sold carrots to the Nazis, and later carrots to the Americans. And we're here. It's like, okay, so he'll sell to the bad guy, to the good guy, whatever, you know. And then later on, when he's betraying them, he's like, you don't survive by supporting the losing team. And I'm like, I was thinking of like that Hamilton. There's a line in Hamilton. It's like, if you stand for nothing, you know, what do you fall for? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, he's just, the guy has apparently no perspective in life. It's probably also really old, and it's like, this could have been like your one moment and been like, did you not enjoy the kid at all? Because like, and been like, wow. Because the whole thing about Laurent is also like, everybody who comes in contact with him always feels like they're like blessed to be in his presence. So like, it should have changed that dude's perspective on life, and he should have been like, normally I would have turned you in, but I did not, because Laurent is he's new Jesus. You know. But no, apparently that effect doesn't have anything on this guy. He's just like, I don't know, I was an asshole before, I'm still an asshole now. Your kid is not a prophet. He did not work on me. So, yeah, they got to cut and run. Luckily, the woman, in the French woman, I think helps them out and tries to get them out of there. So, I don't know. Again, I think all this is kind of pointless. Having villains is pointless in the series, because they're clearly just like retconning it. They were like, I think they probably had a completely different plan, and then Melissa McBride was like, I'd like to take some time off, and they were like, okay, and then she was like, actually, you know what, I'm good. And so she appears in like season 1, and you're like, what does this mean for the show? And you're like, oh, this was what it means for the, okay. So, basically anybody who was written into Daryl Dixon is going to disappear and or die. And we're going to get a new show. We're going to get Daryl and Carol. And they're going to use season 2 to messily set up season 3. Whatever they want season 3 to look like, whatever they wanted Daryl and Carol, the series, to look like, is where it's going to go. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to leave France in order to do that. But maybe they won't. I don't know. But anyway, I could use audio description because there are a whole bunch of things with like people dying, and I think one of the villains dies. I don't know. More people die in this episode. A lot of people, and they're like, there's just like a lot of like, I don't even know who this is. Which character is this? I don't know. So yeah. That's my perspective on Daryl Dixon as a blind person watching this without audio description. But it is pretty easy to figure out. It took Carol no time to find Daryl. She is the best bounty hunter that ever has been and ever will be. It doesn't matter where you are, because remember, she doesn't have technology. She doesn't have GPS. She doesn't have anything. She's just wandering around asking, do you know Daryl Dixon? Do you know Daryl Dixon? Do you know Daryl Dixon? and somehow has made her way to France for Daryl. She is the queen of finding shit. If you need something found, like that NBC show Unfound should just be a spin-off of Carol. Like, I don't know what's happening on that show. Kick them off the show. Put Melissa McBride in there. She'll find shit. Whatever it is, she'll find it within like the first 10 minutes, and then like the last like 30 minutes of the episode will just be like them talking. I'm like, well, we need something else to find. I don't know. It's gonna be another episode before they give us something to find. She's too good at finding things. I don't know. It's too quick. Oh, your he's right over there. I'll find him. Anyway, that's it. I have to give Daryl Dixon every week a grade of unwatchable because it doesn't have audio description, and as a blind person, it is inherently unwatchable because there are large parts of this where I don't know what's going on. So, but thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys on the other side.